I'd now like to invite John Padwick to address the meeting.
Thank you, Chair. Any decision taken by the Executive at today's meeting to put back the Council's 2030 net zero date back to 2050 will be both shameful and a complete abrogation of proper accountability to the residents of North Northamptonshire. The new council has only been in place for a few months, and we're supposed to believe that in such a short period of time we've been able to fully and properly review the council's trajectory on carbon emission reductions, understand the implications and consequences of putting back the 2030 date by 20 years, fully and properly review financial consequences of retaining the 2030 date, and to be in a position to present it all to last week's Place and Environment Scrutiny Committee for the purposes of receiving a recommendation from that committee that unanimously accepted that they had been properly briefed on all such consequences and implications. Of course, the answer to all of that is no. And that's clear to anyone to see if they followed the debate at last week's Scrutiny Committee meeting, where only the Reform councillors on that committee voted in favour of this recommendation to put the 2030 date back to 2050, with the other parties making it quite clear that it was utterly ridiculous to be considering this proposal now, and with the Labour Party councillor on that committee voting against this recommendation. The paucity of data presented to that meeting was open for everyone to see in the publicly accessible papers, and that recommendation and this proposal is clearly based on nothing more than an ideologically, intellectually defunct stance on climate change that simply fails to recognise that the UK has just experienced a summer of record-breaking temperatures, and that the Met Office has just reported that these record-breaking temperatures had been made about 70 times more likely because of human-induced climate change. No one has suggested that the 2030 date should not be reviewed or monitored, but to do so without any proper understanding of the consequences and implications of putting it back by 20 years smacks of a complete lack of transparency, integrity, and accountability. Thank you.